Late in the day, but it's been busy. I actually screwed up in my class. I went half an hour over. I completely forgot. The previous world religions classes were 2 hours, and I'm doing two supplementary classes, one that I did tonight and one next week. And if you want to join in, just text me and we can work that out. They're an hour and a half each. And I asked Michael Levinson, how long have we got left? He said, well, you should have finished half an hour ago. Nobody said a word. No one said a word. I'm just shocked. And then, of course, I've got to do my reading, so here it is. This one I like. It's called The Collective Consciousness. And Carl Augustus Menninger said, fears are educated into us and can, if we wish, be educated out. I like that one. The inner awareness on our part is not only our awareness of it, the divine, spirit, the all, but it's also its awareness of us. Discover a Richer Life, page 9. Ernest Holmes, of course. And this is Reverend Robbins, who says, our country, our workplaces, families, neighborhoods, and spiritual communities each have their own collective consciousness, shaped by their unique cultures, beliefs, and attitudes. This is a social phenomenon, a web of energy that connects everyone. I'm going to come back to this a little bit. The collective consciousness referred to a group's shared mindset. To learn more about this, explore the Global Consciousness Project. That's capitalized, the Global Consciousness Project, which studies how global events influence and shared energy, demonstrating how our emotions affect our outcomes. Fear is just one of many feelings that can spread through this collective consciousness. She said, when Prince, one of my teenage favorites, died, I cried for hours and thought about my emotions and old friends. Oddly, I was also aware that the emotions I felt were not all mine. Perhaps she noticed herself getting caught up in shared emotions too. Big events impact the collective consciousness. My challenge for you is to notice when your emotions get swept up in shared energy. You've got to concentrate to do that. Try practicing ways to disengage, especially from widespread fear. One thing that helps me is to picture the collective consciousness as a mist or fog above me, stretching out of sight. I imagine pulling my energy back into my own body. This doesn't always stop my fear or other emotions, but it helps me to own them. I don't feel like I'm being carried away by a flood, unable to control how I react. It helps me stay present and make decisions on my own instead of blindly following the masses. Yeah, this idea of shared collective consciousness, Rupert Sheldrake talked about morphic or morphogenetic fields, choose the expression, same thing, where groups of animals, groups of people, groups of anything have got a shared consciousness. So exactly what she's saying here. So I agree with it. And as I said, science has explored it. It's not a popular theory among scientists, but then again, lots of things are not popular among scientists and never were, and they've proved to be correct. So I personally believe it. I feel a connection, don't you? I feel a connection often with lots and lots of things. And I have got things that are called coincidences, but they're not, because it's much more than chance. I mean, when things happen, for instance, as I've mentioned in the past, when I'm watching something on television with my wife and I might be playing a game at the same time. Sometimes if it's a little bit, I'm not incredibly interested in it. And wordscapes, for instance, which I don't play too much nowadays. As I've mentioned, I will be putting in a word that somebody on the television would speak at the exact same moment that I put that word into wordscapes. And it didn't just happen once or twice or 10 times. It happened loads of times, which is way more than coincidence. Exactly the same at the same time. It's uncanny. But to me, it just shows that we're all connected, and there is a group human subconscious, but there's also these smaller ones that she talks about. For instance, our spiritual center, we have a shared group consciousness, a morphic field. And in my Toastmasters groups, we have a shared group consciousness as well. So I think it's pretty cool. I'm intentional and conscious of my feelings, emotions, and actions in each moment. I am intentional and conscious of my feelings, emotions, and actions in each moment. In other words, I live in awareness. I live in awareness. That's kind of covers it all, right? So Reverend Lisa will be on in not too many hours, actually, in about, let me see, about 11 hours exactly. And I'll be back tomorrow evening, about 5 o'clock. So don't have lots of stuff going on tomorrow evening yet. So keep your fingers crossed. And all I want to say is namaste.